Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to make something out of this pizza pan. Now, I just got this from the dollar store and I kind of thought it would be something cool to make something different. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my nail file and I'm going to scratch up the surface of this pizza pan. Now, the reason that I'm going to do this is to give the resin something to really cling onto. And then I'm going to clean it off with a baby wipe with some alcohol in it just to get all those little shards of metal off of this so that we don't have any nasty floating things in our resin. And you can see I just did a rough kind of scratch up of the surface, and I just don't want to have any issues later on, so I thought that that was the best way to go about doing this. Now I am going to kind of go based off of a picture that I had found on the internet that I thought was kind of cool, and it's this really dark starry night kind of scene with mountains in it, and I thought it would be neat. So I'm just taking my Nick Pro resin and I'm dividing it into these 5 cups plus my big cup. Now, it's a night scene, so we're gonna do some dark colors. We're gonna do some black. We're gonna do some dark, kind of almost like a blacky blue, a lighter blue, purple, pink, and white. Because it's kind of like as the sun has set or whatever, like before the sun's completely gone. And you can see just that glimpse of the colors and the stars in the sky, and it's going to be beautiful. So all I'm going to do is I am going to mix up all of my colors into these individual little cups, and then we're going to get our pizza pan back and kind of make the sky with resin. Now, I don't know how this is going to turn out. And it could just be a hot mess, and the colors I may lose some colors. They may just blend too much. I don't know. But I just kind of want to get this transition so that I don't have to paint the sky. That's not what I want to do. I just want to see if I can get it to kind of merge. Now, I'm only using a little bit of resin because I only need, a small thin coat. So, all in all, because this tray is pretty big, it's probably a 12-inch round tray. Yeah, because I think it's about 11 inches ish in the center, not counting the rim of the tray. So I figure about 6 ounces ish of resin should do fine for just coating that bottom part so that I can't see through it. So I do need to make sure that my colors are super opaque and you can't see through them at all, because the last thing I want is to put all this resin on here and then you be able to see the pan coming up through the resin. Now, as I mix up my colors, a huge shout out to my channel members and those of you that have bought me a super thanks. All that is going back into my channel so I can continue to put out videos and kind of get the supplies and stuff that I need. So I really do appreciate you guys. You have no idea how much it means. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, sincerely. And back to the video. Now, the blue, what I'm doing is I'm going to slowly add just tiny bits of black because I want this to be like a super dark kind of black blue sky, right? But I don't want the black to overtake it. So if you're going to kind of mix black in it, you want to make sure that you're doing it slowly, little bits at a time, until you get that desired color that you want. Because if you mix too much in there, then you're just going to get black, and nobody wants that when they don't want black. And now mixing it into my big cup. And then for the lighter blue that I got, I'm going to do the same thing-ish. I'm going to kind of mix my blue in, and this is more of like a daylight kind of blue, so I do want to darken it up a bit, but instead of adding black, because I don't want that kind of blacky blue look for this blue, I'm just gonna add in a little bit of my darker blue mixture just to kind of darken it up just a tad, but not too much, because I do want it there to be two distinct blues in this, if at all possible. Now that I have all my colors mixed up, now we're going to go put it on the tray and cross our fingers and hope for the best that this kind of comes out the way that I envision it. So I'm starting off with my darker blue. And again, I'm basing it off of the sky in this picture that I have. So I'm just kind of edging out where I want this dark blue to kind of predominantly reside. And then I'm going to add the black. Now, I know you're probably like, why are you adding black? The sky is not technically black. I know we're going to blend these colors out a little bit later on, but I do want there to be a transition from the dark blue into the black that's even a darker blue, if that makes sense. And then into our lighter blue and now our purple. And I realize I don't know why my camera does not like to show this purple up as anything other than blue. It's a beautiful kind of royal purple, I promise. And then our pink, and then we're going to add our white. And for the bottom, which doesn't really matter because I will be painting over the bottom, I'm just going to go ahead and add that black so that I kind of have a dark base to begin with, because the ground, like the bottom part of this where the ground essentially is going to be, is dark. So this way, if the paint doesn't necessarily cover it all, it's going to have that dark illusion anyway, and it's not something that's going to be super light there, if that makes sense. All right, so I'm just kind of touching up my colors now, adding a little bit more where I kind of feel like I may lose some color, because again, I don't want the colors to go away completely, but I don't want them to overpower, especially that purple and that pink and this lighter blue. Like, I want it to kind of blend nicely, but I don't want it to overtake. I kind of want it predominantly where I have it. Now, there is a lot of white, but we're doing a mountainous background, so that doesn't necessarily matter. I just want hints of it kind of in the background of the sky. Taking my heat gun to pop the bubbles and get this resin moving a little bit. Now, I don't want hard lines. If you're looking at the sky, you're not getting hard lines. You're kind of getting the wispy, just colors fading into colors, and that's kind of what I want to go through for here. So I want to kind of make this resin move, feather it out a little bit so that I don't get the hard lines between each line, if that makes sense, like between each color. And just gonna kind of spread it out, move it around. Then I'm gonna take my silicone tool and I'm gonna get this, the white and then the black on the bottom, to hit the edges of the pan so that it'll continue to move and self level. And then what I'm gonna do is, after I get this part done, I'm gonna go to the top of the sky where that black and that blue meet, and I'm gonna start kind of mixing it together a little bit more. I don't want the black in here to necessarily be black. I just want it to be even a darker variation of that dark blue that I have, so that it kind of just goes together. So I'm just kind of swirling this part together without really touching the other parts and bringing that black into it. Because I still want the lighter blue, I still want the purple, I still want the pink in there and the white, but just the darkness of the blue, so that it looks like the sky is dark and then it's getting lighter down towards where the sun is setting at. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Hit it with the heat gun again to kind of make this move just a little bit more, get rid of any bubbles I may have incorporated, cross my fingers and hope for the best, and we'll see what it looks like in 24 hours. Okay, so 24 hours later, and this is what I've got. I'm not at all displeased with it. I'm kind of saddened where the black and the white met and it merged and kind of turned into a gray, but it's fine because we're going to be covering up most of it with this mountain picture. So I just want to get, now my tray is bigger than this image that I printed out, but it doesn't really matter. I just want to get the basic shapes of these mountains so that I can kind of go off of that a little bit. Now, I've never painted mountains before, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like 100,000% sold on the paint job that I did, but I tried my best. It's really hard to, especially because in this particular picture, the mountains are snow covered, right? So we're in some wintry kind of land, and yeah. But we're gonna go with it. And it's really hard to get the movement and the shape of the mountains and how they are facing without making them look flat. Okay, so you guys have seen me with my carbon paper and all that before, and you've seen me paint before, so I'm gonna pop off here for a minute, and I will be back when we are done with the painting and on to the next step for this tray. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Okay, I'm back. So, the mountains, they're okay, and the little white spots that I'm putting in between, this is supposed to be trees in the background, and it's just kind of like snow where the trees are broken up. Now, this part that I'm doing now, in the original image, it's like, I don't know. I'm not happy with this. It really didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to, and this part right here is, I guess, supposed to be like a shooting star. Yeah, that part I'm just not loving, but I was trying to keep it as true to the image as I kind of could. Now, this sky is like super crazy starry, so I decided that instead of putting the glitter in the resin and having it go over the mountains part where I don't want it, that I will take my gloss varnish and add in some kind of different size glitter. So I've got a chunky glitter, I've got my fine glitter, and I'm just going to kind of go with it, spread it out, mix it up. I also use some of the Rolio Super Sparkle stuff in there just to kind of make sure that it had that shine and the illusion that these are a bunch of stars. And then I decided that I wanted a little bit more because I mean, this night sky, you got to think there's no artificial light, so it is popping with stars everywhere. So I took some more chunky, like medium chunky glitter and some more fine glitter and kind of dusted it on top, and I think it does fairly well with the illusion of the stars, I guess. But we're going to let this dry and then we're going to move on to the next step. Now, this is 24 hours later. I wanted to make sure all the paint was completely dry because I did apply it on pretty thick and that the gloss varnish was dry as well. Now, I took my Cricut and I printed out these words, "Faith can move the highest mountain." And I thought that was a really cool saying to go with kind of the picture. I did print it out on like this dark pink kind of glittery vinyl, which I thought was pretty and it would kind of stand out and tie in that pink in the sky a little bit more. Now, I had a hell of a time weeding this, let me tell you. It took me probably a good hour and a half because the vinyl is super thin and the font that I chose, if I don't use a big chunky font, I have all kinds of issues. So it was not fun. All right, so we've got this on here really nicely, and now it's time to resin over top of it and seal all of this in. So I just mixed up about another, I think I did like 60, no, 120 mils, I think is what I did of the Nick Pro resin. And I'm just going to put this in here and then heat it up to thin it out some more, pop the bubbles from me mixing. And then I'm going to take my little silicone spatula dealy and we are going to make sure that it is completely covered and up to the edges all the way around. I'll hit it with my heat gun again and then let this baby dry. Okay, so you're probably like, all right, well, what am I going to use this for? So this would make a cute tray. You could also dress it up a little bit. You don't have to keep the silver on there. You can paint it. You could put lace on it, put whatever. You can do a lot of different things with it. You can even put it like some kind of hanging attachment onto the back of it and hang it up as a picture if you so chose. There's a lot of different things that you could potentially do. I'm just going to do it as a tray, but the sky's the limit. You can do all sorts of stuff with it. And yeah, that's it for this one, guys. I've got the glamour shots coming up here in just a moment. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will catch you guys on Tuesday with the next one. Love ya. Bye.